So IGN posted an RTX on trailer to show off Directive 8020's graphics. Just for the record, I'm only checking this out in the hopes of new footage. Obviously, I don't approve of RTX specifically or new graphics cards in general. I'm solidly on the record saying the graphics peaked in 2015. That year we got Arkham Knight, Mad Max, and Phantom Pain. And I haven't seen anything that looks as good as those games in the decades since. Am I saying that the PS5 and Xbox Series X were mistakes? Well, yeah, basically everything that comes out for them also comes out on the PS4 and Xbox One, so I'm comfortable calling them wastes of money. I mean, seriously, the PS5 isn't even capable of running Rush of Blood. I'm supposed to be impressed by that? Where was I? Yes. Oh, right. New trailer. Let's check that out. It starts with a really strangely worded line that I'm just going to play for you.
With Earth dying, we looked to the stars for a new home. Humanity's future depended on us. Or so we thought.
First question. Whose voice is this? It's not Brianna, Laura, Zoe, or Sims. We've got a good idea of what all of them sound like, and it isn't them. Is it Cooper? She's the only one with an American accent, but from what we've seen, this doesn't sound at all like her. I'm famously not great at recognizing voices, but this is pretty clearly the same person as the "We all die alone" monologue from the end of the prologue chapter, and I was confused about who it was supposed to be then as well. Is this Oracle, the ship's computer? Is she the one narrating the story? Let's compare their voices, shall we?
We have always questioned whether we're alone in the universe.
A meteorite has penetrated my outer hull, puncturing through to the maintenance facilities on Deck 4.
The voice is a lot tinnier and mechanical in the visiting Oracle sequence, but that could be them putting a filter on it to make it clear that she's speaking through some cheap Williams brand speakers. I think it's the same voice, but again, I'm terrible at recognizing voices. Man, if Oracle doing little recaps at the start and end of each chapter is replacing the Curator, that's just frustrating as hell. We want you back, Clarence, sooner rather than later. I'm also confused about the line itself. She says that the Earth is dying. As always, I'm waiting to hear exactly how, but more importantly, what does humanity's future depended on us, or so we thought, mean? Like, is the whole mission a lie? Did they never actually plan to go to Tau Ceti? Or did they know that Tau Ceti was uninhabitable and it was never actually going to be Earth's new home? Or how far back does the "or so we thought" line go? Is Earth not actually dying? The one thing the line can't mean is that they get into a disaster while on the mission, because even if that happens, humanity's future still depends on them. Assuming everything we've been told is true, they just failed. Or were there actually other missions going on at the same time, and theirs wasn't as important as we thought? Anyway, this sentence is crazy difficult to parse, is what I'm saying. Great shot of the 10 cryopods. Still no way to tell who's in which, sadly. New footage of Carter in the prologue, complete with the convenient "press up for directions" button. Does the SCR up there mean that this is the screening chamber we're going to see used later to examine people? As they walk, we've got more chess talk.
King to B1.
Knight follows. Check.
I will go and reassess my chess game video based on these new moves, and update you if necessary, and it's something you want. Or maybe I'll still do it even if it's not something you want. I'm weird about chess, is the thing. Is that because I low-key kind of hate the game and created a game called Chess 2 that fixes chess? Yeah, that's a real thing I did. That might be a little crazy. Anyway, that is a giant gold head in the atrium. We've seen bits of it so far, and wow, if that's Lamarcus Williams' head, and he put a 2-story statue of his own head on a spaceship where theoretically every bit of space and kilo of weight matters, I officially hate this guy, and I'm fine with him getting shot even if he's not a goop monster in that scene. Seriously, the statue has "Humanity First" written on it, and it seems like he's volunteered himself as the avatar of humanity, which is a real dirtbag play, if that's the case. Here's the scene from the prologue where they talk to Oracle about the situation. Again, weird that you had to go to the room, but whatever. Something I didn't notice last time that kind of surprises me on this viewing is this steam flowing out of a vent in the background. Is this not something they should be concerned about? I mean, I've never been to space, but I've watched countless hours of real-life footage of astronauts on shuttles and the space station, and I've never seen steam pouring out of a vent in any of those locations. It feels like that's a pretty big sign that something has gone wrong and you should look into it immediately. That's also true of the vent outside, which I wasn't critical enough of their blasé response to last time I talked about it. They noticed the venting pipe when they're going to fix the hole in the ship, but they're so unconcerned about it, Sims literally steps on it, triggering an explosion that blasts her into space. A ship venting stuff into space isn't something you can just say, whatever, we'll get to it later about. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain this, but there is a limited amount of stuff on a spaceship, and given that you're over half of a decade away from Earth at this point, there is no way for that ship to get more stuff. While we don't get a confirmation about exactly what's venting here, Carter thinks that it's water, and they're losing a lot of it every second. Does the ship really have so much extra water that you can be largely unconcerned about it dissipating into space? So maybe prioritize shutting off those pipes? I can see the hole being a higher priority. Although, as we can see from the close-up we get of the hole, there's a little bit of steam down there, possibly oxygen or water, but that's it amongst all of the wreckage. Meaning that, theoretically, almost everything that was going through the broken pipes has already been shut off, maybe automatically, so no further damage is happening, and they just have to seal off the hole so that they can start repairs. So, yeah, the exterior panel venting water into space might actually be a higher priority than the hole in the ship's hull, with this steamy vent coming in at a close third. And yes, I know the vent is seeming to make it look more like the Alien franchise. I've seen movies, but I feel like the characters should be a little more alarmed at the state of their ship. Then again, the ship was built by a super rich guy, so it was never going to be well constructed. The rest of the video is just footage we've already seen, so I'd like to take a moment to address just what a bad video this is, at least from the standpoint of selling the thing that the video is supposed to be about. The capabilities of RTX branded ray tracing to do beautiful real-time lighting. Watching this video, the lighting looks fine. You've got dynamic shadows and plenty of light sources to show off the eerie glow of a spaceship, but you're not giving me anything to compare it to. See this giant badge on the bottom right of the screen? That says RTX on, which, you know, great, I'm happy for them. But what does it look like with the RTX turned off? And why aren't you showing me that? This is the most basic level of advertising craft imaginable. If you want to show us why your product is good, you have to show us what life is like without your product. Can you imagine an ad in which they want to show you how good a cleaner they've made in comparison to another brand? So they show you a stain being wiped away with their cleaner, but then they don't show you how the rival cleaner fails to clean the stain? Like, every ad does that. If they didn't do that, wouldn't you take a moment and consider that, hey, maybe this cleaner isn't better than the opposition? So why don't they show us what it looks like with the RTX turned off? Are they absolutely terrible at the most basic aspects of their jobs as marketers? Or are they hiding something? My computer is using a 30-year-old 3080 card, which, to my great shame, does have RTX. Do I turn on RTX in games? Of course not. Like all right-thinking people, I value frame rate over real-time lighting effects. But, just for fun, let's see what the best-looking game ever made looks like with and without RTX turned on. I mean, it doesn't look worse, does it? At least there's clear differences. I don't care about the lighting effects, but if you show them side by side like I'm doing right now, you can say, okay, here's the value that RTX is offering the player, and let them decide for themselves if that's something that matters. Here's scraps of paper and plastic bags shifting around. Here you can see a floodlight having volume, and then we've got a major difference in what clouds of smoke look like. So, the side by side, actually pretty useful here. Of course, that's an old game. So old that they weren't even calling their various visual elements RTX yet. Let's take a look at a more modern experience, one that has its very own RTX toggle in the graphics settings. So, let's see what Until Dawn looks like with RTX and non-RTX side by side. Here's Sam getting dropped off at the bus stop. Here's Sam being creeped on by someone on a hill, not sure who since Jack was well behind her and it's still daytime.
Hello? Someone there?
Here's Sam climbing a wall. Here's Sam chilling with a squirrel.
Aw. Hey, little fella. You hungry? Huh? Cutie.
And finally, here's the drawn by no one, Josh and Chris Hart, which I obviously didn't have to include here, but come on, I'd already loaded up the first chapter, how could I not? Now, here's a challenge I'll put to you. In which of those videos was RTX turned on, and which is it turned off? Is left RTX, or is right RTX? Put your guesses in the comments. I'll let you know which it was in the next Until Dawn or 80/20 video. Now, it's possible everyone but me can spot the difference immediately, but for me, I'm back looking at all the werewolves from the quarry and just being like, huh? And then, of course, there's a possibility that I labeled them wrong, and even I don't know which is which. In which case, whoops. Seriously, though, I think I might have figured out why the 80/20 trailer did such a bad job of selling RTX. And it's because RTX is a really hard thing to sell. Did they not show the on and off versions of it because it would have been impossible to tell the difference? So yeah, I'm going to have to recreate this trailer with RTX on and off in side-by-side versions once I've got a copy of Directive 80/20, aren't I? You know what? We can all look forward to that. But until then, I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time and you'd like to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. There's buttons coming up to help with that. Questions, comments, your guesses about whether left or right was RTX turned on, drop in the comments section below the video. Play my game, Clown in the Woods. It's 2D with art that I hired someone to draw. It doesn't have graphical effects. Like, I don't think anybody even shakes. Actually, no, wait. Somebody might shake at one point. That's not important. It's called Clown in the Woods. It's free on itch.io. We'll see you back here for more 80/20 videos once there is something to talk about. But until then, I'll say that's right. Au revoir.